Come along with us and see how we save this body shop from having to replace the rear door and also saving from having to put filler in the front door. And also the rocker panel down here in the gravel guard, it had some pretty good sized dents and we got them out also. So yeah, just come along and see how we made this happen. And this was about a 7-hour process to get this out, and made it a whole lot less time for the body shop. But you can see right here, there was already cracked paint down here. The door was pushed in behind the rocker panel, so we just ended up having to take the door off and everything in the end. But I'm going to use some cold glue here. I could use some Kiko tabs and stuff to pull this out to start with, but sometimes the cold glue is a little bit less likely to stretch the metal because it brings it out a little bit at a time. But also had to use the blending hammer some to release the pressure from the crowns. And now we're getting ready to take this door off here in just a second, the door panel and stuff, so we can get access to the back side of it. But you can see right here it's coming up and starting to look better already. But boy, look at what it really looks like underneath the light. It's still got a long way to go, but just trying to get as much of it out as possible. That way it can just be a minimal skim coat or some putty primer and it'll be ready to paint. And we're removing the door panel here. Got Ethan helping me today, and he's going to help me get this door panel off so we can remove the door and put it on the stand, so we can get a little bit more pressure from the back side of the door, because it's going to take good access. Plus this way it doesn't kill your back, because it really, by the end of the day, your back could be destroyed from bending over all day trying to get to the bottom of these doors. But yeah, you can look at it here and see how much there's still a lot of crowns and some massive lows. You see the line right through here where it's rolled around the inner structure. We got to get this straightened out so we can get the dent flat. So I'm gonna knock this edge of this door up here some, get it all straightened out along the line of the rocker panel. And Ethan is over here doing some cold glue on the front door. That way we can get ready to repair it also. So I'm still trying to knock the bottom of this door up here and get it good and flat so it'll fit the rocker panel, and trying to get some metal moved down into this lower section of this door. That way whenever I push out on it, it will stay. And it takes a pretty good process of getting the metal back to where it was. You have to push up some, knock down some crowns to push it down into the area where it's kind of stretched. And then after I get the dent up, and a lot of times it'll be high, I take a hot box to it and shrink the metal back to where it'll be tight again. And which in this process, whenever you end up using the hot box, you have to be careful, because on especially this white, you can get a little bit too hot and it'll turn it a brown color where you kind of burn the paint on the back side. And that is definitely not good when you're not going to paint it. Now I'm going to show you how much stretched metal is in here. You can see that it's still very deep all the way through this, and we got to get this up flat as we can. So I'm going to use some cold glue here, because like I said, it kind of pulls up what is the weakest area, and it helps you pull it up without stretching it. And Ethan's cold glued the bottom of this door for me. Now I'm blending the crowns down. He's doing a good job learning how to do this quickly. All right, if you're with me this long, how about you like and subscribe to my channel? Give me a comment if there's something you would like to see. Trying to make the content better and better for my viewers, and I do appreciate your views very much. But this door right here, it was definitely one that I had already really turned down a couple of times. I told him I didn't want to do it, but he's like, hey, it helped me out tremendously if you could get this up to where I can just get it to where it can be a little bit of filler on it, putty it and prime it, keep the paint down low on the door, and also small area on the front door, and keep it from having to paint the rocker panel. So being that I've been in the body shop business for a long time, I understand how much it can help, and I decided to go ahead and help him out on this panel because it does save a lot of time and a lot of effort and money to let you to be able to move on to your next project quicker. So here I'm trying to get all these crowns knocked down because trying to figure out a way to get this metal not to be stretched as much. And I'm fixing to, here in just a second, break out the hot box on this thing, and that will help a lot with shrinking it. And then after we get it shrunk down with the hot box, then we will be coming back and pushing on it again. But yeah, just get ready to watch how this is done and see the finished product at the end of the video. As you can see here, it definitely pops up and down right now, like different places that you push. So I've found with the hot box that if you shrink the outside of the dent down, that it actually lets you to be able to push up on the inside, because it shrinks the metal around the edges, like where the crowns are and stuff, and it lets you be able to push the metal up in the deep areas more if you shrink the crowns down, because sometimes the dent is so stretched that you can't just knock the crown down properly without shrinking it in the first place. And here is the way this car ended up in the end. You can see it looked pretty decent. Still going to have a little bit of putty and primer on the back door, a little bit of primer on the front door, but I tell you what, saved from replacing the rear door and kept the repair a whole lot smaller and made it better for the customer. Call Dent Tamers for all your door dings, large dents, hail damage in the East Tennessee area.